Hey everyone, it's Alyssa. So I actually ended up making a video about 4 months ago, which was my favorite movies from 2019, but I ended up not publishing that because it just didn't feel like the right moment in time for me. Everything in the world was just so crazy that I felt, do we really need this in the world at this moment? So I waited and I pulled back a little bit until I felt like, okay, this feels like a better time in the world. So that's why there was such a lag between the last couple of videos. So I just wanted to include this right before we went into that. And now I will take you over to the actual video that I made a few months ago. Hi everyone, it's Alyssa. I really hope that you guys are doing well and that everyone is safe. I thought it might be a nice idea to look back to last year when everything felt a lot calmer. 2019 had to be my favorite year for movies, maybe ever. I mean, there were just so many amazing films that I loved, and I thought it would be nice to put together a list of movies that I absolutely love that are my favorites. So remember, these are just my favorites. You guys are going to have a totally different list, and that's okay. It's just, these are the movies that stuck with me. These are the movies that I just kept thinking about again and again and again. So I'm going to first start off with movies that I haven't seen from 2019 that I actually really want to see, and that easily could be in that top 10 list. I just haven't seen them yet. And then the next would be the ones that almost made the cut, and then I'll do the top 10 at the end. So if you just want to see the top 10, I'll put the timestamp in the notes below, and you can just fast forward to that. But if you want to see everything else that I loved or wanted to see, just stick around. So starting with the movies that I didn't see from 2019 that I really, really wanted to. First and foremost is Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I have wanted to see that movie ever since I saw the trailer, ever since I heard about it coming out. It looked so amazing. It wasn't playing anywhere where I lived. I think maybe it played for one weekend, but I couldn't get out and see it. And so now they just put it on Hulu, which is great. But at the same time, I'm almost holding on to movies that I haven't seen from 2019 because I'm just so nervous about what's going to come out this year. So, you know, I don't know what's going to be released in the movie theater. I don't know what they're going to put video on demand, and I just want to hold on to a few that I know for a fact are just going to be amazing. So Portrait of a Lady on Fire is the #1 movie that I'm holding on to. I know that sounds weird to wait to watch something that you really want to see, but that's really the kind of person I am. I'm weird like that. So the other movies I haven't seen that I really want to, one would be Waves. Very excited to see that. I love the director. I absolutely love It Comes at Night. I saw Krisha maybe about like a month, 2 months ago, and I just went crazy for that movie. I loved it so much. I also haven't seen Pain and Glory, which I'm excited to. I haven't seen The Souvenir, The Hidden Life, which is the Terrence Malick movie. Haven't seen that yet. The Nightingale, which I am very excited to see and a little bit nervous because I know that it's very, very violent, very graphic, but still so excited to see that one. I haven't seen Climax. Not sure if it's going to be good, but it sounded really different and interesting, and so I do want to see that one. And then the last one was The Last Black Man in San Francisco. I haven't seen that yet, and I really wanted to. So next up, I'm going to do the list of movies that didn't quite make my top 10 list, but they were just such great movies. There are also other movies I didn't put on here that I still loved so much. Like there was just so much that it was difficult to cut down on the list. But some of the ones that I really did love, and I think that I would have maybe put them on a top 10 list any other year, would be Bombshell, which I know not everyone loved that movie, but I love the style, the feel, the pace. I love The Big Short, so it kind of felt like more of the same, and I really liked that. I loved Queen and Slim. I just saw that a couple weeks ago, and it was so laid back feeling and so easy going, but The relationships were so well developed. I just really loved that movie. I loved Luce. Being a teacher, that was a movie that kind of stuck with me long after I saw it. I thought Calvin Harrison's performance was so good in it, and of course Octavia Spencer, anything that she's in is just amazing. I really liked Honey Boy a lot. That almost made my top 10. I liked The Report a lot. In terms of a really fun movie, when I saw Ready or Not, I just thought that was so fun, and I would just watch it so many times because it was silly, it was easy to watch, it was beautiful, the cinematography was just gorgeous in that movie. So that was another great one. I loved Hustlers, even though I was convinced I wouldn't like it. I really, really liked it. It felt like a Goodfellas for women. It was that kind of mob movie, but not a mob movie. I thought it was fun. I really like Rocket Man, and I don't like biopics ever, like ever. But this one was artistic and different, and I actually appreciated this one. Marriage Story is actually not on my top 10. I really liked it. I enjoyed the movie. I thought that Adam Driver probably gave the best performance of the year, in my opinion. That was one of my favorite performances. One of my favorite, not my favorite. But there was something about it where I felt it was maybe slightly disingenuous, because you have the director who's basing this off of his own experiences, and yes, he got other women involved in the writing of the movie, but I found myself so much siding with the Adam Driver character. And there was a moment where I felt maybe I shouldn't be, maybe I shouldn't be siding with the guy who cheated on his wife and didn't exactly listen to her, but I found myself siding with him, and I wasn't sure if I liked that. I also saw the movie Heartburn the other day, which there were elements of that which actually reminded me a little bit of Marriage Story, but I still really loved it. I liked The Mustang. That I saw that movie on an airplane, and it made me cry on the airplane, and so that was kind of embarrassing. And I really also liked A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, a movie I thought I would not like at all. I'm not always the biggest Tom Hanks fan. I feel like he plays the same role over and over again, but in this case I really loved it, and I liked the different approach to a story that it told. So now on to the top 10 list once again. These are just my personal favorites. Your list is going to look totally different, and that's okay. So coming in at number 10 for me is High Life, a movie that I think very few people saw, a movie that has one scene in particular that makes even me feel really uncomfortable, and that's actually pretty hard to do. I've seen so many movies, but I overlooked that scene because it was so different and authentic, and what I would think kind of space travel could feel like. The relationship between the father and the daughter was so beautiful. It just kind of, the movie took me by surprise. I felt like I was in another world, and that's the overwhelming thing for each one of these movies. It transported me. It made me feel like I was in a different world, and I just kept thinking about it for days after I saw the movie. So for me, High Life was amazing, and one of those movies that very few people actually saw. Number 9, this is because I just this movie just made me so happy. Peanut Butter Falcon. It had this kind of Mark Twain feel to it. It was just so sweet, but without being saccharine. And that boy, Zach, I wrote down what's his name, Zach Gottsagen. He was so good in it. I just absolutely loved Shia LaBeouf. I thought all the characters were just so real and genuine, and it just, again, transported me and made me feel like I was in a modern Mark Twain novel, which I would never think to say those words out loud for a movie. So coming in at number 8 is Knives Out. I just thought this was so much fun and so perfectly executed, for where the genre of what it is and what it was trying to say. I thought this was so well written, so well executed, and it made me happy. It made me happy that the end was not just, oh, here's a clever ending, but that it actually meant something, and maybe it's a simplified kind of idea about niceness and kindness, but I loved that that idea was there. So I just love the movie. Number 7, Little Women, which I love the story of Little Women. I love all the movie versions, and I thought, how could this one actually feel different? But it did. I didn't see the PBS version, which my dad tells me is kind of structured in a similar way, but I liked the way this went back and forth. And for the first time ever, I really liked the Amy character. I thought that Florence Pugh, to me, stole this movie. She played Amy in a way that you wouldn't necessarily expect, but if you read the book, it actually does make sense to play her that way. All right, number 6, I put The Farewell. Here was another movie. I had no idea how good this was going to be because I saw it before all of the Oscar buzz and before it won the Independent Spirit Award. And I just watched it on a Sunday night and said, why is no one talking about this movie? It's excellent. It's well written. You love the characters. Awkwafina stole the show. How did she not get a nomination for Best Actress? I cannot understand how she did not get nominated. All right, so at number 5 was Jojo Rabbit. I thought Taika Waititi just handled this content so perfectly to pull off this kind of a satire and not be offensive, be genuinely funny. I don't think I laughed more at a movie the entire year. Like, I can't think of a comedy that I thought was funnier, and the performances were great. I actually thought Scarlett Johansson was better in Jojo Rabbit than she was in Marriage Story. Marriage Story, she kind of reminded me of the way that she would act in Woody Allen movies. So if you've seen Match Point, if you've seen Scoop, that was sort of, it just reminded me of a very similar performance that she gave in those movies. So I just absolutely love Jojo Rabbit. Number 4 is Uncut Gems, and when I saw this in the movie theater on New Year's Day, and I saw it at 10:30 in the morning, super early, and it woke me up like no other. I love the Safdie brothers. I love Good Time. I might like Good Time even a smidge more, only because it has a little bit more heart, but Adam Sandler as Howard is just amazing. This movie doesn't stop. You get just constant movement until you get into that middle sequence where the family is kind of regathering. And I live in New York, not in New York City, but I live in New York, and this is what it feels like. The Safdie brothers, they understand Long Island. They understand the city. They live there. It's coming out of their pores. I just love the way they film this area because it just feels so realistic. I know a lot of people have given it criticism of how quickly everyone's talking, how much cursing there is, but I didn't notice it. I didn't notice any of it when I was watching the movie because I'm just so used to people who speak that quickly, who curse that much. That's every day. So that movie, Uncut Gems, I thought also what made that movie so special was the beginning and the end, and this kind of universality of the story and the minuteness of the character, but also the grandness of the character. It was a really well made movie. All right, coming in at number 3 is Parasite. So I was super happy when it won for Best Picture. I didn't think that it was actually possible, didn't think the movie would win. I was one of those people who was up, I was screaming, I was just so excited. I liked the movie 1917. I thought it was, a well-made movie, but it wasn't something I just kept thinking about over and over again. And I thought the set design, the acting, the soundtrack, everything about this movie was spectacular. And I was just so happy that it actually got the notoriety that it really did deserve. But still, it wasn't my number 1. So coming in at number 2 is the movie Midsommar, however you want to say it. Ari Aster did Hereditary. That was a really good movie. I liked this much more. I felt like it had such a great connection to the female character, the idea of people living through other people's pain and experiencing grief together, and showing how American culture doesn't necessarily deal with grief, with death that well. I also love the idea of this being an alternate sort of Wizard of Oz. The cinematography is beyond gorgeous. I never thought a movie that's meant to be scary would be so scary in the light, and that was the thing about that. I was terrified. The brighter the scene, the more, I don't want to say I was scared, it was just this kind of feeling of unease that I got throughout the entire movie, and I kind of like that awkward, uneasy feeling, which actually connects to the #1 movie for me, which was The Lighthouse, a movie that I thought when I went to go see it, I thought there's no way I'm going to actually like this movie. It's about two guys, and it's to do with like the sea and ocean, and I don't care about any of those things. But yet I felt so transported into another universe, and I loved the mythology of it. I just loved everything, the score, the acting, the cinematography, the way this is such a classic story, and it could have come out any year and have been such an incredible film, an incredible story. It's not, ooh, there's Maisie, there's my cat. Sorry about that. Maisie loves to get into shots now, no matter what I'm doing. She tries to get into the shot. So even if I'm doing something for school or some kind of meetup, she's always, she's got to be in it. That's what Maisie is. But anyway, so yeah, The Lighthouse was my favorite movie of the year. I'm so excited for Robert Eggers as a director. I love The Witch, but this was so much better. And I love the way that you can look at it from so many different perspectives, and looking at madness, but then also looking at the idea of like Prometheus and Proteus, and you know, the evil and the sins that we've done in our past, and how that can follow us along. This idea, this search and quest for knowledge. I felt like it's the kind of movie where you just walk into the feeling of something, and there's not necessarily a plot, but it doesn't matter to me, because I just want to live in that world for as long as I possibly can. So also I loved Robert Pattinson in it. I loved Willem Dafoe in it. I thought the two of them, my brain does not understand how they did not get nominated for Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor. I do not know how this did not get nominated for Best Picture. I mean, I guess I understand why it didn't get nominated for Best Picture. I think it's a bit too avant-garde for most people. But the acting, at least. Although I was happy that the cinematography got nominated, because I can just look at the movie all the time with no words, and I would be perfectly satisfied. So that's my list. I would love to know what you guys thought were your favorite movies of the year. What have I missed? Is there a movie that maybe I need to see? Maybe I haven't seen it. Maybe I don't even know that it exists. So just let me know in the comments below. I hope everyone is well and that you have a great day. Bye, guys.